Good morning, it's Monday, April 14th, and we are here for Development Services Update with Fire Marshal Nathan Poplowski.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Jim did not leave me with anything for Development Services Update this morning. He is off at the power conference thing that he's doing this week. So if it works for you guys, I brought over the Fire Marshal one since we're scheduled at 11:45. Thought we could just do that one early and then not do that at 11:45 if that works for you guys.
That's fine.
Okay, so for me, permit statistics. In March, we had 17 submitted and we were able to issue 8 of those. Of those, 7 were construction permits, so things like alarm systems or sprinkler systems. And 10 of those were operational, so things like fireworks displays or the transient residence permits, operational permits. Moving through those at a pretty good clip now, so that moves to the transient rental program update. That transition is still in progress from the old vendor to the new vendor, kind of the limbo state. We have started the training module from Granicus on their host compliance module. They sent that out to everybody, so working through that now. We have started transitioning internally all of the stuff that was in Rentalscape and the intermediate kind of staging area, moving it into the licensing module. We have most of that complete. Kevin and I are working on getting the remainder of those transitioned over probably in the next week or two. I should have that finished. The door is open to the licensing module now, so everybody's able to apply through the new process. And it seems to be running smooth from what we've seen so far. Knock on wood that it keeps going smooth. We are looking probably at an influx here in the next little bit, probably another 100 to 120 from Crescent Bar coming in soon once we let them know that things are smooth. So those will hit pretty quick, and then we'll really be able to stress test kind of how that licensing module works and functions.
So are they currently licensing Crescent Bar, or they're just in a different platform?
So they were holding until we got this transition done.
So
we asked them to just pause, and
so we'll know here.
So we didn't have to move them manually. So yeah, we're going to let them know here real quick that they can start that. So that'll give us the good stress test on this new process. And then something that's not on here, the fire chiefs and commissioners meeting, we did discuss the unincorporated areas or unincorporated but unprotected areas with fire protection. So that's on their radar now as an item. The information.
And that's the area that Kevin's been brought up for.
Yeah, Fort Air as well as the other ones. There's 712, I think, parcels in the county that aren't served with fire protection at this time. So that's out there. They're aware now. They got the document stuff to go with it, and we'll be rediscussing that here at our May meeting to see what their thoughts are on closing that gap. If parts of it need to be closed, if parts of it don't need to be closed. So
That would be when in May?
May, second Thursday. So I'll have something for you at my June update on that with a little bit more information.
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be meeting with him next week, I think.
And that's what I have for me today.
On the transient residences, are you guys going out inspecting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those
transient rentals, or
those get an annual inspection, so inspection every year.
Is that like for VRBOs and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking like motorhomes.
Oh no. No.
That's it?
That's it.
No other questions?
Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nathan.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right, thank you. We will go on recess until 9:15. Good morning, it's 9:16 a.m. and we're here for the Commissioner's Office update. Hello, Barb.
Good morning. First off, Caitlin LTAC ordered some little keychain flashlight doohies. There you go. That's from her. Like I said a moment ago, Caitlin is online, but she is attending the Laserfish Empower Conference in Las Vegas. And if I heard right, that's what Jim Anderson Cook is attending too this week. So that's pretty exciting. There's quite a few Grant County offices that are there this week. So this is really exciting. First thing on my list is your pending decision spreadsheet for your upcoming meeting. There you go. Okay. Review of upcoming public hearings. There are none this week. Review of this week's meetings. I don't know if you had any questions on any of your meetings coming up this week.
I don't know if you caught the Fire Marshal Council to 11:45.
Yes, and moved it to Jim Anderson Cooks.
Don't see any for me, Barb.
Kevin, Cindy, any questions about your meetings this week?
No, good.
Next on the agenda is the elected official department head luncheon. It is May 5th. Do you have any topics that you would like to bring forth for the luncheon?
Say that again.
Oh, the Monday elected official and department head luncheon, the training that the commissioners hold once a quarter. So the commissioners get to decide what the topic of education is for that lunch. Or if you have any other people who brought forth ideas that they would like to have. So it's in what, 3 weeks? 1, 2, 3 weeks, so.
I want to say we were talking about, but I don't know if Decora's gonna bring it up. The FMLA, kind of another educational piece on that. But I don't know if that was, was a heavy enough topic to hit the.
I know that she has something scheduled, a special meeting just for the Tyler Tech.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's the same thing, but I was just thinking that that's what came to mind. So there is that special meeting that she's called.
I forgot, looks like Wednesday, I'll be in Spokane because our meeting's in Spokane.
The PCC Rail Authority one.
I remember right.
The the DOT one. Okay. Well, we'll put that thought in your path, and if you want to start thinking about it, so we can get that agenda going and get some topics for the lunch, that would be great. So we'll add this to next week's. What is next? 20. Okay. Also, Caitlin emailed the three of you about the Washington Grow interview. Have you had a chance to take a peek at that to confirm whether or not you would like to be interviewed, and if there was a certain spot within your district that you wanted to be interviewed? Rob, I think you replied to Caitlin saying that you think you could make it work.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have a certain spot that you would like to be? And this can be, I believe, individually, or they can do it together. The email says if they can interview the commissioners at 1 PM on May 7th. Is this something that will work for you? And she's open to any areas you might have in mind to do the interview, hoping for a scenic location.
When did she send that?
About it a couple weeks ago, unless she sent another one. So
April
I'm trying-
8th, she sent it to
Oh,
you.
another one, okay.
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
Okay. We'll add this back to next week's agenda so you can think about this one as well and commit. I will sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Commit to that and pick the place that you want to do that. Okay. Another email, I think, that Caitlin had sent. We also have this here. She needs your review and approval for the Homeless Housing Task Force. Sorry. A press release being sent out from the commissioners.
That's fine.
Looks good to me.
So I don't know if we want to put in parentheses lived homeless experience, because the first time I ran through it, but I know what the lived homeless experience vacancy is, so if we just, I see it's capital in the first. I don't know, so it's more of a topic that would, if it looks good, that would be my only thing, so you put, maybe put a little more emphasis on that.
I'm sorry, which part was that?
The lived homeless experience,
In
because
the,
that's kind of the position. You're looking at it just, but like I said, the other people may know what the lived homeless experience is, because it's a person that has to be on there, but
maybe
just put
underline.
brackets or parentheses,
Okay.
or, you know,
Kevin, Rob, are you good with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the heading, so, but whatever emphasizes it more. Can it be bolded?
Bolded, we could do that.
Yeah, that would probably be the easiest.
Okay.
But I'm sure if they keep reading, they'll figure it out.
So you okay with that, Cindy? Okay. On Friday, I met with TS. This is not on the agenda. The Board of Equalization is getting ready to ramp up. May 29th is their first hearings. We found a way to connect their iPads to your monitors. So that way their monitors, they can see the applications better. We confirmed it works with Rob and Kevin's because you guys have a certain docking station. We need to ask you, so the docking station that you have now, we'd like to replace it with the
I
one
would
like,
be so excited if you did.
okay,
'Cause mine just barely works.
okay, so
That would
good.
be awesome.
So you'll have the nice plug-in one like these
Yes.
guys do
And I've
with
asked
just
for it
one
before,
plug.
so that would be
Okay,
good.
so yes, yes, good, okay. So that'll be great for the BOE and just plug in their iPads and then they can use your screens for
Win-win.
reviewing of applications.
I was gone.
I know.
Is that why my screens are backwards?
Yes, that's probably why, because we
That's
were.
great that it works for them.
So tell me, so is it because what was on here is now there and opposite?
Yeah, they're like swapped, but I
Okay.
can't swap them back.
Okay, I can work with TS to
Here's
get
what I'm
that.
gonna do, because my iPad used to be on this side, and then it just throws it off to the right or the left.
Is it absolutely awful for you right now?
I
with
mean,
that?
one's that way and the other one's that way.
He's not happy right now.
I could.
Well, I mean, I
wanna-
couldn't,
so I could
couldn't
explain
figure out
it.
how it won't change.
Yeah, no, that'll be super, because I think mine are.
Oh my
super
gosh,
bulky.
what happened with that?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, yes, I will get TS here ASAP on that one.
It hasn't done that before.
No.
Normally I just switch them.
That was Luke, so I'll get them down here right away.
They can come during a break time.
What time is the break? At 10:15, okay. Sorry about that, I did not realize that that was left that way.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, why can I not switch them?
We messed with you, apparently. Caitlin had reached out to MRSC when you guys were having the executive session discussion. And so she wanted to share with you what MRSC's attorneys had reached out to her with information. So there is that. Today was Wear Royal Blue Day.
Oh, that's great. Forgot about that.
So Susie Fody will be wanting to take your picture at her meeting
What
today.
time is that at?
She is at, I think so too, 2:15.
Oh my goodness. I don't even own royal blue. Do I wear I do.
Okay, well, we don't have another staff member update today because it's the second Monday. Do you have any questions, comments? Something for me you would like to talk about?
Nothing's jumping out for me.
As long as you can handle it while Caitlin's not here this week.
I know. It's like I haven't worked here for 20 years. Everything's different. Yeah, so if I don't answer when you say something for Barb, it's because either I'm gonna not answer the phone unless we have a break or someone comes into the office.
So is everybody out?
No, Caitlin's out, so your front two
Oh,
clerks.
okay,
We're the ones that answer the door and the phones.
okay,
So they're gonna help when they
okay,
can.
Emily's there, Emily's.
Mhm,
Usually
Emily's
very
there
helpful.
and Carrie's there. Mike is out today.
Okay,
That is it.
we'll go into recess until 9:45. Good morning, it's 9:45 a.m. and we are here for an accounting office update with Erin O'Donnell. Hello.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Erin.
Yeah, so Tyler was on site last week working with Mandy and Michelle to go through all of the testing that we are still completing. Our go live date as of now is still July 2025 of this year. And the payroll side of things, the go live date is still January of 2026. We had to push out due to turnover in the office, but as of right now, we are still on track for January 2026. No major updates beside that at this point, but yeah, Tyler was on site last week. They were working very hard with all of the imports and everything that they're currently working through. So that's all I have for you guys, unfortunately. That's it. Any comments or concerns that I can pass on to Mandy or Michelle as of right now?
No?
All right. We did manage to process that cash transfer for the ARPA monies in March. So that should be showing up in March financials. We should have those out to you guys sometime next week, hopefully before the financial meeting next week. So you guys can look over the commissioner's reports for March by then. So,
Thank you.
all right. And yeah, other than that, no major updates as of right now, so.
Okay.
I know, quick and easy. Yeah, thank you guys.
We will go into recess until 10 a.m. Good morning, it's 10 a.m. and we are here for a juvenile court youth services update. Welcome, Swahil.
Good morning. I just have a couple items, but I did send an email, I think it was last Friday, April 11th, asking if I was able to adjust my leave. I ended up working on April 4th for 4 hours, and then this last Friday, I actually worked for 8 hours. So I didn't get a reply from Barb or Caitlin, but I just wanted to ask you guys if, since it's payroll today, Pepper was asking if those adjusting the slips were approved. So I was like, I can ask on my update to see if
Barb
we
is
can do
right
it.
here. I can let Barb, did you catch Swahil?
Yes, we got the email. I apologize. I thought Caitlin had replied that yes, we were just going to use your email and attach it to your leave slip as the notice that you were amending your leave slip.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank
You
Barb.
bet.
Yes, and then I was gonna ask if we can go to executive session on personal matter. I'm gonna do an update on investigation from Chelan and then also from my own staff.
You sure can. How long do you think we need?
Like 10 minutes.
Okay.
If I-
Your staff, is it disciplinary or just evaluation?
It's not disciplinary yet,
Okay.
but
If it's going that direction, that's what it would be.
yes.
So do disciplinary?
I think if it's going that direction.
You're going that direction or are
Well,
you
it could be.
evaluating?
Could be.
Okay. Okay, it's 10:01 a.m. We're going to go into executive session until 10:11 a.m. Personnel disciplinary matters, RCW 42.30.1101F. It is 10:11 and we are out of executive session.
Yeah, but that was one of my comments that I was gonna talk to Joe now that I'm back to see, hey, you guys might have to
I
update
think
some of the
they
software
Are they at the Laserfish? They're going to a training, some of them.
training. Oh, good.
So I think they're just leaving today because I saw one of our employees with the suitcase. I'm like, you have that much stuff you're packing in? It's like, nope, just getting ready to leave for training.
Well, that's good. That's
Obviously,
good.
when they go.
All right, so if you guys don't have any questions, I think that's it for me. So,
All right, we will go into recess until 10:30 when we're back with Renew. Good morning, it's 10:31 a.m. and we are here with Renew's Dell Anderson.
Morning, Commissioners. How are you?
Good,
Hey,
how are you?
Doing great. Thank you. I just got a couple of agenda items this morning. The first is I wanted to comment on my graduation from the Malcolm Baldrige Institute Fellowship Program. back in 2023, I was looking for further leadership development and came across a Baldrige framework and an opportunity to apply for their fellowship program. I've appreciated the support from the county to be able to complete this once I was accepted into it. It was a 1-year fellowship, and we completed the fellowship on Saturday, March 29th. This process began in the morning at 7 a.m. with 18 presentations that were provided on capstone projects from each of the executive leaders that were in the fellowship program. My capstone project focused on the work that we've been doing here at Renew to make our substance use treatment programs accessible virtually, starting with the Grand Coulee area. So now anyone accessing their intensive outpatient programming from Grand Coulee, instead of driving to Moses Lake 3 times a week for a 3-hour group, they can now stay in the Grand Coulee area and attend their group virtually. We've also created processes for them to do a urinary analysis as well. So they're able to come into the office, or they can do a mouth swab as well, which can be virtually seen and completed and then mailed in. So we've also worked with the courts on this process. They'd also accept that someone that is referred to the court would be able to complete this process on a virtual basis as needed as well. As a part of this project, we also licensed all of our sites for substance use treatment. So we have that ability to be able to provide these services at each of our sites as well, instead of just Moses Lake. We're just not at capacity on staffing to have the professional staff there at each location yet to provide that service. But I wanted to give you that update on what the capstone project included and how that helped move our work further along. The graduation occurred about 6 p.m. there in Baltimore, and then there was a celebratory dinner afterwards, and then the Quest for Excellence conference began the next day on Sunday, March 30th, and that lasted through Wednesday, April 2nd. This conference is specifically for organizations that are striving for excellence in their performance and their leadership capabilities. And so this is a group of organizations that win national awards for their leadership, for their service excellence, and they present out on what they've done in their strategy, what they're using to measure their performance, and are teaching other organizations how to be impactful and to have broad influence in the customer base that they each have. This isn't just a healthcare program. This features healthcare, manufacturing, education, and communities. So there were several counties as well as cities that are also a part of the Baltimore process that do communities in excellence. And so I just wanted to comment on that real quick too, that the community of Henderson, Nevada won a national award at this conference for their service excellence. And what they've done is a community within the city leadership to use these Baldrige principles and create a really great structure in that city. So that was interesting to me, just because as we're looking at the county and different things that we could do to drive excellence and strive for that from a county perspective, learning about these communities of excellence, I thought was good as well. The conference was terrific, and I really appreciate the county supporting me through this process and allowing me to develop new skills as a leader. And these skills developed were in leadership, strategy, customers, workforce, operations, and using data to measure the results of your performance. And so I, again, just really appreciate that I've been allowed to do this year, and that it was supported by the county as well. I think it was an excellent program, and I'm excited for the things we're going to be able to implement here in our department as we implement the strategy that we're going to be rolling out. So I'm excited to present that to you next week on the 22nd. I believe it's at 11 a.m. And so I've invited the management team that's worked with us on the strategy to be there in the room as well there in Ephrata. So any questions from you regarding the fellowship or things I'm planning to implement here as a part of what I've learned.
Yeah, what are you starting to implement?
Yep. So you'll see some of the implementation things added into our strategy that we'll be presenting next week. And there's also a regional Baldridge Alliance we're connecting with. And this alliance will allow us to use this process to start getting recognized regionally for the work that we're doing. And then 3 to 5 years, we will apply for the national awards. We're moving in that direction and really setting the stage for adding these principles into the work that we're doing. So you'll be able to see that as a part of our plan and strategy that we'll be presenting on next week.
Well, congratulations, Dell, for graduating. I've enjoyed being a part of this, some of your learning tools that you're learning, you've been sharing with us. So it's been fun to go, to go on this journey with you. But I did have a question. So Cooley Dam, you're doing the like remote UAs. Is there other counties? Because I know like South Grant County, they literally have to leave for work to drive up, I think to Moses.
Yep.
And there's complaints that, because they don't know when it is. It's just like you have this morning or this afternoon, you need to do it now. So it kind of hinders if they do have a job, their working ability. So is there anything to do like down in Mattawa that would be?
Yes. So we just kicked off Grand Coulee as a first pilot project. So the goal of that was to work out some of the kinks and to get that project off the ground and going. And then we're moving it to every single area across the county. So within the next several months, every area throughout Grant County will be able to access this service virtually. And the groups are also in the evening so that individuals who are working will be able to access it from after work into the evening group.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I just really wanted to have it start in one area so we could work out the details and pilot it there before we expanded it out to the other areas.
Oh. Well, exciting news coming then.
Yeah, and the comments from the clients so far in it were some of them that weren't things that I was personally thinking about. We were trying to provide a new level of access for individuals, but the amount that they've saved in gas was a big impact. The amount that they've saved in buying bus tickets was another major impact. One individual has a child with severe medical needs. And so coming an hour and a half for a group and then traveling back an hour and a half, they were worried, what do I do if something happens to them and it's an emergency and they weren't going to make it back in time? These weren't things I was personally considering when we were talking about having virtual access for that group, but that's been an impact to the clients that are there. Another individual said that every month they have to sell a lot of their personal belongings to get money for bus tickets or the gas that it's going to take to travel across the county to make the service. So especially if those individuals it's required through a court process to attend, this will make a big difference to them. The next things I had on the agenda, I just wanted you aware, we'd come through a process with the working on active attack. This was a live simulation. We've been coordinating with the Sheriff's Office, MLPD, Samaritan Hospital to do a live active attack simulation and how we coordinate between the active attack, ambulance services, the ER, and law enforcement. What we've decided to do is go ahead and move that to spring of 2026 when Samaritan is in their new hospital. That way they'll have their new workflows for their ER, and it made more sense to us to wait that year to get them situated and settled in their new environment and then do this process with the new workflows that they're going to have there at Samaritan. So I just wanted you aware of that. There was a letter that came through consent requesting that we close on May 14th. Do I need to send another letter reversing that, or is it okay just to be aware?
I don't think it was approved. It's just on this week, correct?
Yeah, it's on May 14th, but we did a letter through the consent agenda approving for the office closure.
That was a few weeks back, I believe.
Yeah. I can do another letter reversing that so everybody's aware. I just didn't know if that's what you preferred or not.
What's normal, Barb?
I think an email would be fine, just so we can have that in the minutes.
Okay,
Thank you.
I will do that. And the other updates I had for you is on our consent agenda items this week. There is a DocuSign from Enterprise eFleets. This is our car fleet program that we did through Enterprise. They had a DocuSign come through that shows that they have lowered our service fees. And I was seeking permission to sign that DocuSign. So that's one thing that will be coming through consent. And the other is a agreement between Renew and Campbell and Company for metal sheets so that we can place filters throughout our HVAC system. And I just wanted to give you a heads up that that was not approved through our legal process because it was under the $20,000 threshold. So I know sometimes that question will come up if legal had reviewed it, but I just wanted you aware that that had not gone through legal due to it being under the $20,000. And there are a couple of out-of-state travels which were coming through for different trainings for individuals on our team. That's what I have for you this morning. Any comments or questions that you have for me?
All done for me.
I'm looking for the MDR, what's it called? EMDR,
EMDR?
yes.
Yes, that's a rapid eye movement, evidence-based practice that individuals are being trained in. It's a therapeutic approach.
Just gonna read about it here. Well, thanks, Jill, I am really excited about the outward reach to reach out to these smaller communities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really highlighted at the conference, the work that's occurring. And sometimes I probably don't sell myself or the work that we're doing as well as I need to. It's having a significant impact, the work that we're doing in our county for virtual services and just access to services across our county for behavioral health. I also just want to mention that I'm not looking at virtual services to replace in-person. I still think that in-person, face-to-face visits are the most effective way to provide treatment. But we have a lot of individuals living outside in small rural communities. And I want people to have an option for the way they provide their services. And so I think being able to receive a virtual service and not have to travel in for this service will be a great way for people to receive that. But it's not to replace the other services that we have.
How far out are you for the initial interview? We were at one time 6 weeks. I think that was before your time, like 6 or 8 weeks.
For like initial assessment?
Yeah.
For mental health, we're same day. Individuals could call and get in the same day. For substance use, we're further out. It's about 2.5 months for a substance use assessment. So being able to add these virtual services helps. We've expanded 4 new providers in substance use. So we will start to see those assessments drive back down. But for mental health, they can have an appointment in the same day.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you.
We'll see you later this afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, it is 10:45 and we will have the assessor's office here and we will be in recess until she arrives. It is 10:52 a.m. The assessor's office did not attend. We will go into recess until 11:15 when we are back with the fairgrounds update. 11 a.m. auditor's office meeting has been canceled. It's 11:15 a.m. and we are here with Jim McKiernan for a fairgrounds update.
I was doing a dance for Barb prior to you guys coming into the conversation here. Just doing let's see, the Barbara Durbeck's working on the Mike Ramsey issue. And probably will fill you in when she does her update. We had some good discussions with the Rodeo Association over trying to be focused on direction and projects rather than the smattering of a dozen projects. So we're meeting tomorrow out at the rodeo arena at 1 o'clock to go over some ideas. And hopefully our plan is to develop a 1, 3, 5, and 10-year plan with them so that we have an idea of what they want, and how we can facilitate that, but also make sure that it fits into our business plans. You will be getting the headliner contract from Barbara Durbeck. Of course, she's got some concerns similar to what she had last year. I feel very comfortable with the Romeo changes and feel that it just really needs a signature. They're little things. She doesn't like the formatting, but she's going to bring it up in her update. She's been very helpful, I will say that. And between the two issues of the Mike Ramsey issue as well as the headliner contract, we did announce on Friday that it is Easton Corbin. And so we're pretty excited about that. And you know, those contracts, I think that one is 38 pages long. And there's all kinds of little intricacies in the contract. Romeo's really good at going through those, as you know from past experiences. And I know Rob working with Springfest, you know how detailed they are. So like I said, I feel very confident with her concerns noted. It's not I don't believe it's a liability as far as revenue or expenses go. I just think there's some little things in there that she doesn't like the way they're done. We're struggling to get an outdoor seasonal. We have had 3 applicants, all of which, well, one didn't show for an interview, one got another job, and one hadn't moved from the other side of the mountains over to here yet. So we have no other candidates as of this morning. I'm hoping Krista has some good news for me today. We're interviewing some office candidates this week. And other than that, I'm speaking at Kiwanis today. Both Sand Cup and Barrel Days were absolutely massive this year, barrel racing wise. I bet there was $20 to $30 million worth of horse trailers sitting on the fairgrounds this weekend. Pickups and horse trailers. It was probably one of the biggest Barrel Days events we've ever had. And at one point, we had 648 horses running over the weekend. So of which almost 600 of those stayed on the ground. So we made it through. They were super happy. And we're probably the only facility in the Pacific Northwest other than Nampa that could host something that large. So we're seeing some things we might ask to do next year. Maybe we start putting in some additional stalls on the rodeo side to get rid of the older stalls. But the facility as a whole, everybody just is enamored with the amenities that we provide, and the crew constantly gets praise. We have a phenomenal crew, dirt crew, garbage crew, office crew, we are very lucky to have the people we do. And working on sponsorships. Sponsorships are a little slow this year, and it's a reflection. I also talked to Sean Salas with Springfest, who said the same thing for them. It's a reflection a little bit of the economy, I believe. And so I do believe I'll hit my goal of $100,000 in sponsorships, but it's just taking a little longer. Our Flannel Fest, don't say that fast 3 times, Flannel Fest poster and work is going well, and ticket sales are well ahead of last year. So we feel pretty good about the numbers that we're going to see for Flannel Fest this year. We kept ticket prices pretty much the same, raised our camping prices slightly. So I'm feeling really good about it. Other than that, any questions?
How much do the restaurants pay you for having all these people in town? Because they were packed all weekend.
I talked to Jordan last night, and he and I chat quite a bit. Well, obviously my wife works for him, so um, I talked to Jordan, and I know that his restaurants were definitely packed.
Oh, yeah.
I assume, well, I was at Ten Pin for a grandson's birthday party in the arcade at noon on Saturday, and there was a lot of people in there too. I know there was a big ball tournament this weekend, I think, also.
Yeah.
At Lozier Field. So between the horse people and the ball games, the town was packed. And you got no porterhouse anymore, and you got no Sporties right now. So you're trying to cram a whole bunch of people into two less restaurants. Yeah. Why did you try to go out and eat somewhere, Kevin?
I went to Ten Pin Saturday evening and I left. It was so packed
Yeah, it was.
for something to eat.
Yep. Jordan said what was interesting is people came up to the restaurant got busy about 7:30 or 8 o'clock because people were running on their horses, and then as soon as they got done with their runs, they would head to the restaurant. So they were busy late on Saturday night. So that's good. That's really good for restaurants. I'll be interested to see from Placer how many people are staying in hotels too, so I can pester them a little bit more. We did get some interest, which is kind of cool. We got some interest from Best Western this year as a sponsored trade for rooms for entertainers, which I've been working on them for 6 years, and this is the first year they actually have said, yes, we'll do room night trades for a sponsorship, which is good because then it costs us less to put entertainers up.
That's good.
Ten Pin does great with us, and then obviously the Molitor hotels also support us pretty well, so that's kind of nice. Other than that, Becca's back today, which is kind of nice. Rosalind's doing great. Darcy's been very helpful in coming in and getting her up to speed, and she's picking it up quickly. So she might not say that, but I think she's getting it quick. But other than that, that's about it.
Great.
Cool. Yeah, I went out there, it was packed.
Yeah, I stopped by Saturday just to see if there was any problems. The only problem we had was the fire alarm went off, a low pressure sensor or something failed on Friday night. And so Chris had to come in and reset the system and turn off the alarm basically. So. All right.
Good.
Thanks. We'll see you next week.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Bye.
We will go into recess until 11:30 when we are back for a risk and safety coordinator update. Good morning, it's 11:30 a.m. and we are here with Blair Cope for a risk coordinator update.
Good morning, everyone. So I want to go over some of the new claims that have come in since last time we met. One of them is claim 1736. It's for the fairgrounds. It is the small claims one that Jim received. We did turn it into the insurance company just so they have notice of it, just in case something, if it grows, but we will be handling it in-house. The insurance company does know that, and they're letting us handle it, but they do have notice of it. Rebecca and Barbara and Kevin are in the process of handling it, and we're dealing with that now as we speak. Wanted to let you guys know, I apologize about the email I sent you guys that I thought was a tort claim. It was not. I was in the middle of a meeting, got it, and I was about to head out to another meeting and wanted to send it to you guys, and then found out it was not. It was a notice of hearing, so it is what it is. But it is a notice of hearing of someone wanting to get their animals back. Right before this meeting, I got a notice of a new claim at the solid waste landfill, where a waste management truck backed into one of our packers. While he was backing, they didn't see each other. They're in the blind spots. Our packer has superficial damage, no injuries. Waste management truck damaged their ladder and light bar. So we're just, there's video of it, so we're gonna look at it and see what happened. Don't know if the waste management is gonna want it fixed or not, but probably be under our deductible. But we do know about it, so we'll deal with it and see what happened.
So they backed into our equipment?
We were both moving, so we backed
They were
into
both,
each
they were
other.
both moving at the same time.
Okay.
The packer did see him because it was in his blind spot. And the waste management guy didn't see him because it was in his blind spot. So I'm guessing they don't have video cameras or anything like that. But from what I was told, he was also in a spot he wasn't supposed to be. And so they've also, from what I've been told, have a history of going in real quick and trying to get out as fast as possible. So it's been an issue in the past, but we'll see. I want to see the video and go from there on that. So we'll deal with that and figure out what's going on, see if there's something we can come up with for that. I do have a question for you guys. Claim 1660, which is one of our wrongful acts. It's one of the ones in litigation from the gorge. We got a payment due to the attorneys sent to me.
Our attorneys are,
Clear Risk
okay.
sent it to us. Who pays that? Is it the sheriff's office or is it?
No, it should come under miscellaneous general government. There is a component because that's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing,
Okay.
it's not from the sheriff's wrongdoing.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just send that to someone else because I wasn't sure. I thought it was sheriff's office, so send it that way and then.
And then we have, it'll be under that.
So send it up to.
That should be, but we have a different account, so Mandy may want that to come out of.
Okay, so
like,
send it up to
insurance.
Mandy and have.
But it should, Caitlin should be doing our breakdown of it.
Okay.
She'll know, but I believe,
She's
but I'm
gone
just
this
one
week.
commissioner, so the other two can jump in on this, but
Okay.
usually it's miscellaneous general government.
So the deductibles don't go to the department, they go somewhere else. I'm still trying to learn all this.
Well, if it, because that one, it's not,
For those type of ones.
okay, just a minute, the gorge incident, is that, we have two out of the gorge. Oh, I'm thinking of KB, of the gorge incident.
It's a wrongful arrest.
That was the guy that
Yeah.
had supposedly had guns in his truck.
He did.
I don't think this is the first one. You see, you can look, ask Mandy to see, or
Okay. Okay, I'll
or
contact
Michael,
Mandy.
I don't know. Emily might do, I think Emily helps with some of the accounting. and stuff.
That'd be a good thing to figure out though, what kind of standard practice we want to
Yeah.
implement for that.
I know, I think, well, that's something we're trying to get set up too, is those processes and get us set up that way. So we have it. So this is how it's done from now on. Okay.
But if it's like negotiations with employees, union, each department will be billed. I mean, if you can, I know
Sure.
it's like 100% that department, that would be.
Okay.
So it could be the sheriff's.
Okay.
I would-
So I'll contact Mandy about that. Okay. All right, we'll do. Thank you, guys. And then just to let you guys know, Decorah, Gina, and I started with Lexipol on Friday. We started the process of getting the policies and procedures going. We'll be meeting with them every couple of weeks for that and starting that process. So it's gonna be going on that. So we'll start with that going. Also met with Kim Allen, the county clerk, last week, and went up to her office and got introduced to her employees, and we start doing that, going to each different program and meeting with elected officials and department heads and going through all the different departments of this county. And then as you guys saw, I printed out the updated accident prevention program. As you know, it's just a table of contents for you guys to look at. You guys have it in your email. Go ahead and go through it. It's a working document, HR, and then the safety committee will be going through it. And we're gonna go through, make sure our policies and procedures are in line with this. And matches what we want for our policies and procedures. It is our policies and procedures. And then changing how stricter we are, or if we need to be more strict on certain ones. And then once that's good, we'll do it. And then if we don't have that, if we don't do, let's see, confined space, we just will say, you know, Grant County does not do confined space, but if we did, this will be our policy if we ever want to do it in the future. And then for depending on the department, like Public Works, then we want to add some other things to it, and we'll add it for them. So this is what Pete kind of did, but I changed it, just made it a lot shorter. I put his name there in parentheses, which you can see was a long one. It was a mouthful, and so shortened it up. And this is required by law, and it is a WAC. So Grant County does need this, and so this would officiate and be what the WAC requires for us. So, and it's pretty simple language, and it's really easy to read. So, as you go through it, if you see anything, please let me know. I'd love to have you guys input on this as well. And it breaks it down by from what it's expected from commissioners, what it's expected from department heads, elected officials, and then the employees on certain ones as well. So.
Well, if we get bored, we have plenty of reading.
You have some reading material. This is, I mean, it's not the whole thing. It's like 80, 90 pages, but it's there for you guys to go through to kind of have the idea of what I've been up to for the past, since I've been here. To start with that, so you guys can
We
see
know
it.
you're not slacking.
No, I'm not. It's not, you know, it's not a fun thing to do, but it's something that needed to be done. And so we got that now. So we can say we have it, and we just got to fine tune it now to get it out to the rest of the business. Kevin, as you know, Benjamin from Historical Research reached out. I know, Rob, you were here for the last meeting. We talked about that, how we didn't have control of the landfill till 1974, and then our insurance wouldn't really be there. However, he did bring up a point. We did have insurance on it because we named the city of Ephrata as additional insured on our policies from the time we were helping run it. So those policies would be available. You know, Kevin, you said you went to City of Ephrata and talked to them, and they tried, but they didn't get anything.
Yeah, they had a insurance forensic pathologist, whatever, working on their side of it, but they didn't find anything.
Okay.
I don't know who that was. I didn't ask that question.
So it is $700 for them to go through it and see if it's worthwhile for us. It's, you know, $100 for them to start it. It's $600 to pull the permits, and then we can make the decision if we want to move forward. That's all it costs us. It's $700.
That's if they found something.
That's total. I mean, then we can.
Right, but I mean, if they found something, then we could decide whether we want to move forward or not.
So.
And we haven't done this earlier?
Not that I know of.
Not that we're aware of.
Yeah. Andy went through his stuff and he said Castro looked at stuff but never did anything with it.
Okay, because I want to say, I thought it was Sam,
Yeah, Sam,
either the very beginning of Sam or the end of, gosh. But maybe we were just talking about doing it. Maybe Sam was just talking.
Sam was working on it, then he.
Okay,
basically said
that's
he
probably
wasn't-
where my,
Yeah, he wasn't gonna do anything more with it.
So,
He just kind of dropped the ball on it.
I mean, it's for $700. It's not a huge amount of money to at least look to see if there's anything available to us. But I mean, it's your guys' call.
But I think for $700 it'd be worth at least having them explore it.
well, and that would be funds coming out of the landfill, so they would be funds, so I would ask, work with Public Works.
Mhm. Yeah, I can talk to Andy about that and see what he thinks. I mean, for that price, it's not a huge amount where it's gonna be a huge amount of funds changing, so.
Well, the way I look at it is if there is money out there that we can recover, it's money well spent.
Yeah, it's money, and then they would have money in the future too, because if it was available, so, yeah.
Yeah, work with Andy, because that probably was Sam that started moving forward on it,
Okay.
just never did.
Yeah, I can talk to Andy about that. I'll give him a call tomorrow, because I know he takes Monday off. So I'll talk to him tomorrow. I'll get with him this week about that and see about, if he's could fund the $700 and then have him reach out to Vigilant. and move forward with that.
Or just work with him,
Yeah.
so you know who
Yeah.
to bill.
Yeah. So I'll do that. Is there anything that you guys are needing from me or wanting me to focus on?
Now, how's your position going?
It's going, working through, got the claims, all the current claims are almost all in except one, or it's three, it's one that's added to three. I just gotta get a portable CD player to just have some CDs that have to be burned in. But everything else is done and I'm working through boxes where it closed.
Sorry I didn't have an answer for you on that, the last one that you brought up, at the gorge. But
Oh, that's fine. We're working on the current gorge contract right now, just getting the insurance limits raised. Just so you guys know, we had $1 million from them for insurance, which wasn't enough. As you've seen from some of the claims we paid up for the gorge, we've asked for higher limits, and so they've kind of been dragging their feet, but currently right now we don't have a gorge contract with the sheriff's company. So hopefully they get back to us shortly because they kick off pretty quickly.
yeah, is it this month?
No,
May.
no, it's
Just
May,
May.
it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
I'm a
have
month ahead.
Willie Nelson.
No water in the canal, I'm ready to start farming.
Yeah, so just want higher limits. It's a 3-year contract, and if something's gonna go wrong with the sheriffs, and
Well,
we take all the
of course.
liability for that. It's not a thing we want to take for just a short little bit of money, so.
Yeah, no.
Just one more. So,
Well, thank you, Blair.
you're welcome. Have a great
Let
day,
us know
guys.
if there's something we can help you with.
Well,
Thanks, Blair.
yep.
We will go into recess now until 1 p.m. when we are back for position management review. Good afternoon, it is 1:01 p.m. and we are here for position management review. We have HR and accounting with us, as well as Kevin Schmidt with facilities.
Tom Gaines is on his way and should be here shortly.
No worries.
We just have the one today, so we'll just wait for Tom and
It's like they were trying to pitch it all. I'm like, we already funded this.
look, I come with little things and I still like spread across the table. I'm a table hog.
Sorry, Dan, that's all we
Oh,
can
you're fine. I got it.
encroach.
Won't run over there. Good afternoon. You got your password? Yeah, but you said it out loud.
I remember it just in a second.
150.
How'd you know?
You guys are live.
Yeah, we're waiting for Tom.
Oh,
We only have the one, so. just
oh,
waiting.
okay.
James, is Tom here?
He's on his way. On his way. He called
Oh,
about
okay, I didn't
5
know he
minutes ago and was at Eva Lake Road.
Coming in on 2 wheels.
Is this out of central services budget?
It is. It's cruise, well, no, I won't be done until about this time next year,
Oh,
hopefully a
okay,
little
okay.
sooner, but no, it's progressing very quickly. A lot of mechanical equipment's going in. They're starting to paint, putting ceilings in, so we're going up there trying to keep our eyeballs on everything so they don't put ceilings over our all our VRFs that we have up there for air conditioning.
That's good.
And we found one already. No, we found
Oh,
three.
no. At least you're involved this early so you can catch it.
Exactly.
That's nice.
It is. So, no, a lot of people go up and take a walk. You wanna go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
do
okay.
too.
I do too. I wanna go on a.
We'll have to arrange a tour someday.
Talk about that.
Lunch.
Can you go with us? No, I didn't have the opportunity, sorry. Oh.
Your boss
Oh, we
let you
took
know?
Erin and Joe. Yeah, we could only take two at a time, so.
Oh. Usually we go up there on like Wednesdays, so we have a meeting up there about 10 a.m. So maybe about 11 o'clock or so, that would be a good time. But I'll let you know.
Thank you, yeah.
All right.
And
As
you'll,
long as it's okay with Mandy.
and you'll host a lunch.
What's that?
You'll host a lunch because by the time you're done, it's noon.
Yeah.
Kevin,
You
is,
guys get lunch. I don't know. Everybody worries about lunch.
Kevin, is this Turner's position?
No, this is for, if you were to compare it right now, it'd be Corey Woodwist, but with the additional things that we're gonna put on, be required for this position, it should probably become a supervisor versus a, I think, what was it called, a technical specialist,
Specialist.
maintenance specialist.
Okay, I'm just curious, because it says it's in the current year budget.
So it's in our budget.
Or do we wanna just go?
We can start discussing those things. I mean, I'm
Okay.
good with that.
Yeah, I was just looking up the things.
I
in
suppose
the
we gotta wait
budget.
for Rob.
Is he coming right back?
Yeah, he was just gonna go upstairs and make some broth.
But
for
there
his
should
lunch.
be a position in there as a maintenance specialist in the budget.
I have a maintenance supervisor that's vacant.
That was,
Was, but it's been filled now, and is that the position you're talking about?
no,
No?
This
Okay.
is
a whole new FTE. Okay, so then how is it in the budget?
if you look in the budget, you will see that we had a position in there as a maintenance specialist. And Corey Woodwiss's name is in it,
Yeah, okay, I see that.
but we're changing the job description to fit what the job actually is.
Okay, so, okay, I'm confused then. This,
Because he is in the sheriff's budget currently,
correct.
but we budgeted, he was supposed to be moved into our budget and that did not happen. So we have it budgeted in our budget, but we have not been
And it's
using it.
budgeted in the sheriff's budget for one position. Okay,
But you changed the job description to make it a supervisor, which would be more pay as well.
Correct.
correct.
And called that out in here as well.
What's the annual salary on this?
$87,068.80.
So you'd be a little bit short.
Yeah.
Of his credit. But if he hasn't been being paid out of that budget for the first 3 months, then it should be fine.
Yeah, we haven't paid anything out of it, so.
Okay, then yes, we would do the budget.
I think it's all in the presentation that Kevin did for us.
Did you like it?
You want to put it up?
The
We
template?
can
It is up there. It's beautiful.
go through it.
Somebody must have photoshopped
Was
it.
this the first time that we had someone use the template?
No. It's the first time he's used it.
Cindy, can you read that?
I don't know.
Did you go anywhere fun, Cindy?
Michelle did.
We did.
Good.
So when we do this, do you want me to read that whole thing or is everybody read?
Well,
This is my
really-
first PMRT,
Oh,
so.
sorry.
Well, I think we probably should wait for, we have 45 minutes. Is this the only?
This is our only one.
Okay, sorry to be, Rob had a lunch meeting
We'll wait for Tom and
and then,
Rob.
Okay.
like I said, Tom, so I just feel like we're gonna be repeating this, if you don't mind being a little patient.
Fair enough.
Then Dan, I did have a question to ask my teammates here. The administrator, have we gotten the county administrator? Is that getting close? Have you heard from all of us?
I've got all the comps, I just
Okay.
have to put
Okay.
everything together to do the comp analysis.
So I just want to make sure you
and-
weren't waiting on us, because sometimes we have,
No,
like, we're lagging, we're thinking. I
Oh,
don't think
no,
that-
I
maybe I sent
appreciate-
the
I
email or I'm
appreciate
like,
the
oh, I thought I
follow-up,
took care of
but
that.
I was thinking about that over the weekend, but we've got everything. Tina
Okay.
sent out a notice notice to everybody saying, hey, can you please list job descriptions and pay that you can provide us on
Okay,
what
okay.
you would consider to this position.
To stick on.
And I just gotta put that.
Oh,
in.
these ones are good. These ones are good.
Lunch was not us, so we were like, oh,
Oh,
that's
good. These
fantastic.
ones are really
I was
good.
like, I don't know where it's at.
So we're good.
No, I like that. My sister does the great
So
job.
once you guys finalize the job description.
No,
we
we're
send-
good. Yes, that's all we needed to hear, like, wait on the board.
Once you guys finalize the job description and we send it out.
There's pictures of it. You can just go to the left side.
Okay. I felt stupid because when we went there, I didn't realize
Our comps coming back pretty good.
technology, they laid each
Oh,
for
okay.
hand by hand.
I know from.
I would have thought it'd be some kind of machine.
Right?
Yeah.
No, we're waiting for,
Your wheels smoking? Oh,
Tom, Tom, you're not late. We're waiting for Rob. Who would
Oh,
grab-
so they have the keyboard.
Right
Do you
on.
have any wheels on your
Well,
car?
you are
I've let Rob know that Tom is now there. He's gonna head down.
Thank you.
you want to read the presentation that basically?
That's so cool that you're sharing.
Yeah, not a problem. And that's the museum, so if you haven't been there yet.
No, I haven't been there yet.
You haven't
I
been
wanted
there?
to though, no.
It's
I
actually
want
pretty
to.
interesting.
It's a goal.
Yeah, I think we're.
I did that the only open
few
during
former large
like
counties we don't
8 to
have.
5 basically.
Yeah, not on Saturdays are open.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of cool old antiques in there. It's pretty.
The two different.
And then you can buy a board and put your name on it.
Douglas,
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Have to go.
their court administrator, I recognize the name. Did you?
So for
You
unlimited,
reality man?
it's 240.
Oh.
That's
Oh my gosh, small
Yeah,
world.
small, so she left there, and I just remember the name, like, her dad was like head of the
They have the budget numbers for it too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
30 minutes.
I said you've already.
So when did they hire
increased
the
our
county?
budget because
When- Douglas had one? 'Cause there's one.
I just couldn't remember what it was off the
Pretty
top of
sure
my
they're
head.
probably.
Yeah,
No,
I
probably-
I apologize for, it
No,
was,
I-
it
like-
was kind of a delay this morning, even at my eye doctor, so.
And
No big
it's-
deal.
Anyway,
She left, it would have been.
I was on time, but my eye doctor wasn't.
Oh,
I don't know how long she's been in that position.
we're always at their mercy, it seems like.
Yeah, and then, yeah, they put all kinds of goop in my eye too, so it was kind of weird.
Population 45,000.
minutes.
That's not good when they put poop in your eyes.
Okay, I think we're
At
all
least
here.
my retina's okay, so.
Okay, we're ready. Kevin, you have the floor.
Oh. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing this, so.
Same here.
We're all gonna learn together then. Great. So, the introduction and overview, just talking about it, the new sheriff's facilities is 188,000 square feet and includes new administrative offices, emergency management offices, conference room accommodations for 512 inmates, larger kitchen, laundry area, storage and evidence facilities, canine facilities, and other offices that used to be in other locations like INET. So they're all gonna be up there in the one place. This is a significant increase for central services and facilities and maintenance to manage. Having a site supervisor will streamline maintenance service and inspections and make sure they are tracked and completed in a timely fashion. Work is planned and completed efficiently, and the computerized maintenance management system is kept up to date with the relevant data is tracked. Work prioritized by meeting with the sheriff's staff and helping with developing the annual current expense and capital budgets.
I would add that campus, this is a new campus, it's all new construction, and it's the size of this entire campus. So we're doubling our maintenance requirement.
So some of the current, just like Tom pointed out, so the current challenges and problems. The new facility will be ready to be occupied in the spring of 2026, about a year from now. In the remaining time, there's a lot of work and training that needs to be done before that happens. Assets and inspections will have to be added to the CMMS, training on operating and maintaining the new equipment, and be in attendance as commissioning is done to learn how intricate systems like the HVAC are balanced and optimized to provide the most energy efficient operation. Work with contractors. Working with contractors and securing bids are also part of the needs for this position as we go in down the road. So When we get into this, there'll be a lot of contracts as far as some of the things that we have to do to be in compliance with the state. So we do have an elevator, so we'll have to get that part of our contract for L&I to make sure we're in compliance with them. So Otis Elevator will be probably our contact for that. The generators have to have an annual inspection done by a certified contractor for that. So that's part of, because it's an institution, that has to be done. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of contracts we're gonna have to work through. We'll have to, our water treatment system up there for the cooling towers. Oh, they're dry systems, so we won't have that. But yeah, there'll be a whole bunch of things like that.
Not the Icon system, but
Yeah.
So.
So currently, there is not a position that covers the scope of work that is going to be needed to be developed and sustained to help develop and sustain maintenance and reliability for these new facilities.
I'm gonna kind of draw a parallel too, and it's not exactly the same, but if you think about the size of the facility up there, the number of systems, and how we have to onboard that into our CMMS system, and how we have to plan for the maintenance for this new 40-year facility, this is kind of our Tyler. This is, and the amount of information we have to do, and right now we don't have anybody dedicated to it because we can't.
Kevin, you did a remarkable job. I'm just letting you know.
The position job description is attached, so it's kind of in its rough form yet. But the position was budgeted for by Central Services in 2025 for the entire year and has not been filled to date. And when it was budgeted, it was actually budgeted as a maintenance specialist, and so far we haven't used, because the person that currently is in that position is with the Sheriff's Department yet, because of association things, hearings that have to go through and things to move that over.
Union stuff.
So, but as we were talking about this and looking at it, it's more of a site supervisor position than just a maintenance specialist. There's going to be more required of the person. I think in the end of, once we get all the data together and figure out what our maintenance looks like, I'm guessing that we're going to have to probably have an additional person up there too. So next year we'll probably be doing this process again. So getting somebody up there to gather that data, track it, get it all input into our maintenance management system, so we can figure out what it's actually going to take to run this facility. That being said, this year it should not require additional funds, but in just looking at it from this year and what it would cost, it's about an $8,500 increase year over year for that position to go from a maintenance specialist to a site supervisor.
Which all that is an exempt position, and it kind of needs to be, so somebody has to want to do this. And like Kevin does, I do, a lot of us who are in exempt positions, there is some discretionary effort that, you know, kind of has to happen because people want to do that job. So you can't do it with an hourly position.
So this is not a union position.
It is not.
So do we need to get any feedback from the union, or we're good to move forward?
No. And it matches the other site supervisors, the wages, so.
Which we talked about right here.
Yep.
So benefits and impact. Grant County has maintenance supervisors at other department locations not on the courthouse campus, such as Renew, Fairgrounds, Public Works. Having the site supervisor at the location helps to increase availability to complete work, interact with requesters regarding questions about submitted work, communicate with upper management on critical priorities and upcoming plans, and be there regularly to monitor, inspect, and service equipment. I guess that's it.
Sorry, I should have waited for the questions to ask that question.
My one question that I have is, there would be no cost for, or resources required. Do you have extra laptop or tech tools that you have available for this position? Or will that need to be purchased?
We would have to purchase.
Yeah, and remains to be seen. Actually, I should say to be determined. So there's a maintenance shop that's built as well as an IT office that's built too, but we haven't programmed the space yet as whether, the IT shop isn't going to take a person. We might put a recycled desktop down there so you have a network area to work from. And we might do something similar for this position where it's a recycled desktop. It doesn't require something like, a super powerful tower like we provide to accounting, anything like that. So you have to access CMMS, access the web, so you can look stuff up, access vendors' websites. So likely be recycled material.
Any payroll policy concerns? Mandy, any budget? Okay. HR, all the documents are in place.
Yep.
We reviewed them, thank you. Any questions, comments from the commissioners? See 2 out of the 3 not shaking their head open.
Sorry,
I saw Kevin, there was a 3.
I don't have any.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's do a while and get some.
Appreciate you coming and sharing and giving us all the
I
insight.
apologize, I was delayed a little bit.
That's okay.
My eye doctor was late, so
Well,
it made me late, so.
thank
for your
you.
time. When do we get an answer?
Tomorrow, when I come back to my meeting, the
Okay.
HR meeting, then the board decides if they have enough information and they make a decision then.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all we have today, so thank you, board.
And you get some of your day back too.
Not really, no.
No.
Yep. We'll go into recess until 1:45 when we're back for a commissioner meeting. Good afternoon. It is 1:45 p.m. and we are here for a commissioner work session. I'll look for pending sheet. Do either of you have any topics to discuss today?
Yeah, I received a letter from Mattawa Court District looking for a letter of recommendation. I forwarded it to Barb.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I got one too. I'm good with it.
Wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that too.
We had also received it last week and it's on there for next week's consent agenda.
I probably missed out on the consent agenda.
Barb, did we do a letter for that other one last week also?
There was one on this week's consent for that LEI.
One. Okay.
Yeah, that's for tomorrow.
Okay. So pending decisions worksheet, coordinated entry 5-year plan. We selected a consultant, or the task force did. Jim voiced his concerns last week or the week before about it. And we still went through with that. We might not do a portion that was the concern, so it's not overly a concern. Small tract of items, CFO to review. ADA access at museum. I believe that Tom was working on that. He brought that up last week also.
Yeah,
So
they were gonna go down and look at what they need to do to
yeah.
put some pavement. Just a path.
Safety committee plan being worked on. Morgue. Do we have any development on morgue property?
So we put in for a pre-app meeting
yeah,
with the
that's
state. So as soon as we get that, then we'll figure out where we're at.
Is there anything else that needs to be added to this list? We should have put on there wear royal blue.
I let Susie know. She is wearing blue full on. I told her I was wearing cream.
I'm wearing red.
There's a vest upstairs. We can throw it on. Look, Kevin's coat, since Kevin's like head to toe. It's royal blue is what we're supposed to be wearing?
Yeah, I only had a tie that was royal blue, and I kept thinking, why was I gonna wear a suit today? Because I really don't want to wear that. Now I remember.
The only other thing is, the work release center. What are you guys' thoughts on that as far as where do we want to go with that?
If we,
It's tough because you have the storage buildings, which we use.
Right.
The expensive building to have just sit there, but you don't necessarily want to give up the storage buildings either. I guess it would just depend how much that building's getting used right now. I would hate to get rid of it and then find out, oh, the sheriff wants, a space not at the jail for the gang team or something, find out something after selling it. Probably be worth just bringing that up in the meeting tomorrow if he's here.
Would you like me to add that to the pending decision spreadsheet, the work release center?
Or if you could just send him an email that we want to discuss it in the update tomorrow.
To Joey?
Yeah, just so we don't forget.
Will do.
in fact, I made in Washington email.
Yeah, the only other thing I had was one complaint about the roads up in the north part of the county, but I sent that on to Andy, and he said they'd take care of it.
I was looking for the email for that other individual in Moses Lake, but it looks like he sent a letter and it was scanned in. But Public Works is aware of it, so they'll know. Road.
Yes, there's
Construction.
been issues with.
There have been, okay.
We did put the speed sign out on West Shore, didn't we?
I know we asked him to. I don't
Jordan said that the trailer was out there last week.
I wonder if maybe when it gets done over there, they can move it over to Road F and see if we can slow people down over there.
Yeah, Dune Lakes called also with some complaints of speeding in that neighborhood.
Dune Lakes or Teddy Hill Road?
No, Dune Lakes Road.
Hey, Tom?
I just thought I'd touch base with you. I just came back from the sheriff, so we have some canine issues to work through, but.
Just FYI, we are in our session. I mean, you can stay.
Yeah, you're in your work session?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just didn't, I want you to know we're recording.
No,
and
that's okay. Thank
live.
you. Yeah, that's okay. I just wanted to check in with you real quick since I missed my update with you this morning. If you guys had any questions or anything.
We were just talking about the work release facility.
Yeah, we're gonna put it on our pending decision list.
All right,
We should get rid of it, or
I can double check. I did tell Ray Towery they needed to bring us an offer, and he said he was working on it. They wanted to, so I can find out where they are on that.
Rob was just worried about selling it and then needing it later.
Yeah.
If you have any use for it, I guess.
Valid concern. I'm not sure what to do with it. I think that's been our issue all along is figuring out what to do with it. My understanding is Joe Creed's going to run the new work release out of the new jail. They won't go back to using that again. So what to program that space for and what to use it for. It's been tough to figure that out.
Yeah, my concern is that, say we make the decision to sell, we sell it in 5 or 6, 7 months. Then the facility gets completed and they say, oh, we need somewhere off site for whatever.
So
we rent a building or we, just something like that comes up.
Let me ask you this question. It's a little bit of a loaded question. So as the board is aware, I just returned from the county administrator conference. One of the most interesting conversations that was going on there was what other counties were doing in in regard to their jails and detox centers and crisis intervention. Intervention. So they all have separate facilities. They won't do it in their jail. Benton County is getting ready to build a 16-bed facility outside of their jail. Skagit is looking at building 2 16-bed facilities. One is a detox, one is a crisis intervention. And it got me thinking, as a matter of fact, I called Dell on my way home because I asked him, I said, hey, what's the exact plan? You know, I mean, I know we have programmed bed space in the jail, but it's in the jail, right? It's in the cell. And all the other counties are saying that we can do that. It's just not the best use, right? So Dell had mentioned that we were working on, or somebody is working on kind of a regional crisis intervention.
County.
I'm sorry?
Yes, a 4-county regional diversion program.
Yeah. Do we know where that is in the process?
They wanted to look at Grant County. The only problem they have with Grant County, because we have a facility that would be awesome, but it should
Would that
land
be with the work
Douglas.
release facility?
Pardon me?
Would that be?
Yeah, it would work, but they're worried that it would, the labor.
Yeah.
Labor to run it, that they would have a better shot up in the Wenatchee area.
It was a long way to go for that, but that's the point I was getting to was would that be a good facility for that if we wanted to do something outside of the jail or separate? And I mean, we'd have to figure out what to do with the open bay style that it is and what that would look like. I have no idea, but you know, maybe that is a good use for that facility, a better use for that facility. I don't know. So, but I wasn't sure where the board was in conversations with either the sheriff's office or with Dell about detox or crisis intervention, or if there had been conversations.
But as soon as we sell, then we're gonna have a need for something.
Well,
So
that's
We're gonna need
a good question.
file storage immediately.
That's a good question.
Where do you put the file storage?
The file storage that's currently up there.
Yeah.
We would have to reconstitute that as we discussed before up at the new jail site,
Yeah.
which is part of the sales negotiation because it's going to be expensive to do that. And we've told the city that, you know, that has to be part of that calculation.
I know they want to remain downtown.
With the city or the,
It's important to keep the local business, the government offices downtown.
well, the city they would like to buy work release and make it, for them, I think it works. If they could buy work release and make it a police department, move the police out of City Hall, then they can remodel that space and they don't have to move. So.
Right.
I think for them, that's a.
In my mind, I think we need to get rid of it because it's just gonna be, we're just waiting for a flood, something were to happen. That's kind of how buildings are.
Work release?
Yeah.
Since COVID. Since COVID hit and they started the shutdowns and there were booking restrictions placed upon the jail saying you can only book, you know, the worst criminal, and they couldn't book them in minimum
But there were
security.
not a lot of people up there. And up at work release, it wasn't to capacity.
No, and it was always up and down. They ran a really great work release program. I mean, all of your community partners, you know, City, the Port, Fairgrounds, all of us, we miss it because.
Yeah, everybody asks when is it coming back?
And then we would have some nonviolent inmates, just for the protection of the inmate, we would move them up there so that they were protected from.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of really interesting conversation, and there are counties in the state that do not want jails built. They don't think we need them. They don't want them built.
Well, let's move there if there's no crime.
Yeah.
I would like a place where there were.
Yeah, there were some.
No correction. But
Some of the comments made were not in a public forum, so I don't want to repeat them here, but I know I had engaged in a very interesting conversation with somebody from another county about that, so.
Can we guess which county?
You'd probably guess wrong.
Southwest Washington County? Northwest.
Northwest, yeah.
It was one or the other. I assumed Dean probably wasn't even there.
The board got my email about Grace Harbor.
they want to look at our jail.
Oh, yeah, the jail.
That one.
They're like super excited. All of their commissioners are coming over.
You said something about they're buying us all lunch?
Well, I was talking about
Oh,
hosting them. Central Services was gonna buy lunch, because they're planning on being here. They'd like me to take them from start to finish. You know, they were getting ready, their county administrator was getting ready to publish an RFP to select a general contractor. And I talked to him, I was like, well, why are you doing that? And he goes, well, we got to figure out a jail. I'm like, you don't want to do it that way. And they were reading the blog. They're connected now to the sheriff's Facebook page. Apparently, they're looking to do something very similar. And they would like me to take them through start to finish how we got the 3 tenths passed, how the sheriff did, how we started and how we selected an architect, how we got into the GCCM process, and they'd like to walk through and see all the cells. And
Don't let them steal you from us.
they're not going to steal me. So,
Are they gonna be here all day or?
yeah, it sounds to me like they're going to be here for a good portion of the day. So I'll probably do some kind of a presentation over in the trailer. And of course, you know, Lighting is excited to show them as well. You know, that's possible
They
business.
may
So
even provide the lunch.
they might, they would be
Okay,
more than
then
happy
delighted.
to. So,
Lighting, here's an opportunity for you to.
well, and I thought it was an opportunity too, if you want to, you probably already know them. I mean,
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of Grays Harbor unless it's the one with the beard.
So you have to Google it and you're like, oh, yeah.
But yeah, they're excited to come over and see it. No, so all 3 commissioners, their county administrator, their under sheriff, and their chief of corrections will be here. So it'll be a pretty good
What
gag.
date?
April 24th. Okay. That's the day they have available. So
I'm not available that day.
okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
It was pretty quick. He wanted to follow me over. When we left on Friday, I was like, well, I'm not going through Freda. I'm going straight to Spokane. I had a meeting in Spokane Valley.
Because they're already over here.
Yeah, they were in Leavenworth, so yeah.
That went good.
It went really well. I discovered that, again, we were not in a public forum, so I don't want to relay the comments here. There are a lot of issues in a lot of counties that make us look like we're doing really well. I mean, people definitely got into the problems they were having and trying to figure out how to deal with them. And there are some counties having some really big issues from a cultural standpoint, how people are working together or not, the lack thereof. Open warfare was one of the terms that was used. And then they were providing examples, and it was just like, oh my gosh, Grant County is not having any of these issues. So it was a little bit refreshing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Well, we have the treasurer.
Rob, I emailed Joey Crete, and his response about having that for discussion tomorrow is, I'm not sure what discussion they want to have. It's my understanding that this has been turned over to facilities and maintenance. But Gary and Phil will be there because he won't be there. Just giving you a heads up.
Well, that's fine. If they were to need a building, you just turn it over to facilities. Okay, so we have a 2 p.m. with the treasurer's office. You might remind Daryl, but we will go into recess until Daryl comes in.
Getting excited for the end of the
Good
day.
afternoon. It is 2:03 p.m. and we are here with the treasurer, Daryl Pheasant.
Okay,
Hey, Daryl.
so county just completed the Schedule 6 for the auditor's office way earlier than we've ever done in the past.
What's Schedule 6?
It's a thing for the end report,
Oh,
of which the Schedule 6 wasn't built for counties who had pools. So it's, and our complaints to the state on their form, they created for cities, and then they wanted the counties to use the same form, is counties are way different than cities. So we just turn in our information to the auditor's office county today. We've been getting a lot of payments, but we haven't been able to cash the checks. Because US Bank had all these things were supposed to be done when we asked for it, and then they didn't do anything ahead of time, and so we're waiting for the final bit for this setup and testing so that we can send all the data on the checks to the bank. And we have a lot of checks that we're waiting on that have been processed and just waiting for it to send to the bank and get all the money for all those payments. The new machine is very fast compared to posting manually. The process is when we get the mail, we're sorting it, sort the mail by single, one check, one parcel. If there's a one check on multiple parcels, then that goes into a different pile. And anything else that's not those situations, which is a small percentage, goes to just be manually posted, which doesn't leave that many. So we're currently, so the big job is for me to open, the employees to then go through the mail and sort it in the order and put in the crate stacks of the two different types where we run through the machine, and then post the ones that don't meet those criteria, but that criteria is over 99+% of the payments that we get. So it's going to be really save a lot of time, so that we avoid with this new software where it took almost to the end of May before we got everything posted. The software process is so much slower than what we used to have. And so that's why you had to approve new equipment for my office to try to get payments posted, so because people call when their check isn't cashed immediately. And then we spend a lot of time on the phone answering those type of questions. So a lot of online payments are coming in. I did get a question.
How's that working out?
Well, the online payments are going great, you know. So we're just sending the files and people are paying. Yeah, we couldn't use the tax software because they didn't have a shopping cart feature. We had a shopping feature on TerraScan, Tax Sifter, but tax decided not to have a shopping cart. So if you were paying by debit card and you're paying one parcel at a time, you pay a debit card fee on each parcel.
Is it at a percentage like in 3%?
For debit cards, it's $3.95. Credit cards, 2.5%, and an e-check is $1, which is more comforting and practically the same cost of putting postage and mailing it and hoping and not knowing if it'll get delivered.
But you can put it on the shopping cart, so
Yes,
you don't have
you can put all the shopping
$1 for
cart
each.
and then pay by credit card, debit card. Well, the credit card, it doesn't matter, but a debit card, it matters a lot. And an e-check is even bigger savings. When you're only paying $1, you could have 50 statements and you pay just $1 on 50 payments total. So
That makes it nice.
So we're doing fine. I just want to pass on to you, I got a school district concerned about our operations on how we're handling investments. Beginning of last year, we stopped providing a separate investment fund. It was just, first, the new software getting doesn't accommodate that. Other counties are already doing it. And so we did it where we didn't break it out. It's just total cash and investments. And then the state auditor's office complaining to a school district. We're not providing those numbers. And looking at the state SPI manual, there's nothing saying we had to break it out into two pieces. So until they change the law, change their rules, us putting it combined together. But schools are required to provide a number at the end of August, how much was investments and how much was in cash. So at the end of August each year, we send them information regarding that breakdown. So they have it for their reports at the end of the year. Now the state auditor's office has expressed a concern that in 1995, when I created the county pool, that we didn't get interlocal agreements with our taxing districts where I'm the ex officio treasurer for. There's a big difference. For cities and other type of entities that their own treasurer, if they want to invest, we have to have an interlocal agreement. But since I'm the ex officio treasurer and the law says I invest for these districts, we've never needed agreement. When I created the pool in 1995, I contacted other counties, and those counties didn't have agreement either, but did have agreements with other entities. after 1995, probably in 96, I sent out a letter to all the cities and other entities, seeing if they wish to invest in the county pool. Some cities did, and they still do. So right now, the State Auditor's Office is wondering about our rules and why we don't have an agreement with all these districts. Well, I was doing what others were doing clear back in 95, and I've never seen any directives from this State Auditor's Office of any change of desire of that scenario. So they want to do a finding on something that they seem to have had no problem with for almost 30 years. Then, you know, and of course, this is, well, those school districts are using Wenatchee State Auditor's Office, while the county's using Yakima for the audits. So that's just something that came up to, just in case they push that. As I told them, like, this is what I'm grabbing from the State Auditor's book, the SBI's manual. And let's see, what other fun things? Just a lot of, a lot of REIT transactions that we're having to reject because they don't want to fill out the forms right. They want to try to do something without paying taxes, and they don't like it when we notice things that they have in their language that suggest that they owe something. And they don't like it when they get caught. And we seem to be dealing with a lot of that lately. So that's a lot of work on my staff's time, seeing those things and not just letting it go. Some counties, they don't have time. Well, King County, they don't have time, but they're the biggest generator of REIT taxes in the whole state. So the Department of Revenue lets them do what they want to do since they bring in the biggest share of money to the state. And it's REIT taxes are one of the major revenues for the state. And some counties, they just don't want to, they don't like confrontation. So they'll just let these transactions go by and flag it, and then the state will audit it possibly 3-4 years later. And so for my office, we push. They want an exemption, they got to defend it.
Are these coming from just private individuals or?
Private individuals, attorneys, and sometimes title companies. You had Frontier that said, well, just let everything go and just flag it. I said, no, they didn't like that because they didn't want to prove the exemption. They just wanted it to be exempt because they didn't ask those questions. That was a while ago. We don't get that anymore from Frontier. Let's see, 33 minutes left. Yeah, Carrie was on a phone call today for the check reader process at noon to try to get all these things straightened out. We just have 2 trays this long of statements that need to be prepped. And so again, the first part is opening statements and then prepping the statements, getting them in the right order before it's processed through the machine. So right now we have a lot of data in the machine that hasn't been posted yet because we weren't expecting this long of a delay by the bank. So that's about it. I got 2 public records requests today and gave them the responses. And people want me to go back to a physical auction instead of online. The problem with the physical auction is then people who are close can come and not have to worry about people from farther
Well, you
out.
won't do both. You won't do a physical and an online. It's one or the other.
No, I don't know if I for the next year's auction go back to good old times and do one just for the swan song on me being the auctioneer.
No, physical.
Well,
online are kind of the rage right now. Seems to be the direction. You just have a wider.
Yeah, but we provide a lot of information ahead of time for all people.
Yeah.
And people don't like the competition. And we get a lot of revenue coming in from the excess proceeds.
Yeah, you make more money on it.
Yes.
Online sale.
So it's pretty successful. And we're just,
How do you get payment on it online?
What?
How do you do the payment for the online?
Well, first thing is when all the money's flowing to public surplus. And then when you're a winning bidder, you have to remit the money within less than 2 days by wire to public surplus. Then public surplus sends us the money after they take out their
Well, that's
fee.
better than bringing a wallet full of cash.
Right, and so, yes, so we don't have all this time spent counting a person who just brought $50,000 in cash and bought something. We have to count all that cash before we go
And
to
you
the
have to
next sale.
stop.
Right.
So all that, the sales go faster, except for the ones where everyone's bidding back and forth, that can go up to 2 hours. Which then I'm avoiding that delay in the auction for that much, except mine would be quicker because you get 5 minutes every time you, till your last bid gets 5 more minutes till the next bid.
But you can do more than one bid at a time.
Yes, you can be bidding
I
on
think you can
multiple
stick with
parcels
the
at the same time.
Online.
Mhm. All right, that's my time. Thank you very much.
Here's your calendar.
Did you happen to remember to ask Melissa about the maps this morning?
We actually didn't, we did first came in late to say the shed customers.
Really?
Pop
I
your
don't know
head
this.
in.
Daryl, how much more did the statements cost to print this time since they're in full color?
Well, I don't know, our total cost with postage ended up being 32,000. Of course, we had more statements we're printing because there's one statement per parcel. I'm not sure there was a savings in postage. It wasn't that. I think we still paid more in postage, but the problem is the postage rate went up in between. So it's tough to do that calculation. If we have, problem is each year, if it goes up each year, then it's hard to, you have to really delve into the numbers to see if this is a savings or not.
Right.
But we prepaid a bunch of postage. We had a big refund back of the postage, and that refund minus the actual cost for the statements, we had billed, our second bill was only under $550. We had a credit and then a positive, so that ended up around 34,000 total for everything. I think I'm remembering that number right, 34,000.
Well, that's a pretty good amount on your return because we got millions back.
Yeah, so that, and some people don't like it, especially the ones with a lot of parcels have to count, do the adding of those. So, and some people haven't called, well, we have a lot of return mail back this year compared to last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have a lot of people that
So,
moved and didn't.
If it gets returned,
And we have a whole 3 trays full of, 2.5 trays of return mail that we haven't even had a chance to get to just even sort it into alpha order for someone to call and to work on researching addresses after we're done posting tax.
have you thought about doing a town hire to help with, in case they call to say they haven't gotten their tax statement yet?
Right, well, what we do is we go in and
Just
look at
online.
go into after we have copies of every statement, go into that statement and see where exactly it was mailed to. And then, oh yeah, that was my old address. I forgot to tell you.
Okay, so you have an opportunity to look.
So, yes, we have to look at each statement and see where it's mailed to. We also paper tracing. And some people, in these places, it was delivered per the tracing to the post offices on April 1st and April 2nd. And then they're saying, well, I still didn't get it. Well, I don't know how to solve the problem of if the post office has it and it's the correct address, how to get it to them. I can't solve that for them. So, yeah, so if I mail another one, the same thing could happen.
So you're telling me it's just another fun day in the office?
Yes. So we've been working on sending a lot of statements, but we have one taxpayer that that keeps calling for statements even though they got it. Because they have it mailed to Houston, and then that Houston mailroom is supposed to then disperse all the statements to all the different locations. And they have one location in Addison, Texas. Well, they said, well, we haven't got it yet. Well, you need to talk to your own mailroom because they got it. So we're gonna probably next year send that information electronically because they're so big, they're acting like a tax service. So we're gonna send electronic stuff to tax service. All right, thank you, sorry.
Thanks, sir.
Sorry, Susie.
Good afternoon, it's 2:19 p.m. and we can now move on to our new health update. Hello.
Afternoon, hello.
Purse. So cute.
Sorry, we failed on the
I
row blue.
texted Susie just to let her know. Do you want, we can still go do a picture.
We should do a picture.
Thank you for wearing blue. No, there's always an overachiever, and that would not be us. Sorry.
Just so you know, that's not royal blue though. Closer blue than red, but barely.
Yeah, it's a lot closer than your blue, but yeah.
I think mine is closer than your blue.
Yeah.
It's sad too, because yesterday I was thinking, what do you have that's royal blue? One tie.
You were thinking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
You didn't.
I pulled the suit out even, and then it just.
No, I'm gonna wear blue. I can't remember why.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to wear a suit, so I put
It's
on this.
okay. Wear it Friday, because that's what the campaign's all about, is Go Blue Fridays. So we were just gonna
I'm gonna put it on my calendar.
fake
so I
up
don't
a
forget.
social media thing showing your support and yada yada,
And then
right?
post it.
We support you, and our staff did let us know multiple times, and
Thank you. I am preparing to hit submit day after tomorrow on our reaccreditation application with the feds for our Children's Advocacy Center. So we've had an accreditation coach help us through the process, and really don't anticipate anything big that we're gonna have to fix. So that's good news. We will hear back from them probably within a month after submission, and then be given almost 5 months to fix things. And they will be here, the feds will be here in October. So I'll give you more information as we get closer. They're gonna wanna talk to all of you about our Children's Advocacy Center, so that's coming up. Funding for July 1st services. So the Senate budget had the fix in it that would help us and not let us show any kind of deficit from the VOCA cuts. And the House budget was close. It had 5 million short. And the governor's budget has to obviously reconcile that. In order to reconcile it, they're gonna have to propose new revenue, which isn't on his radar. He's not real happy about doing that. So I'm not sure what that still means for us. I'm getting my applications like I do every March, April. I'm getting them late, but I'm getting them from the state to apply with the tentative funding and probably be asked to resubmit everything once they get a formal budget. So I will keep you posted. Honestly, I really know nothing right now. And then the last two things on my agenda were just questions for you from like that helicopter view. What is the Tyler update at all? Tyler software? What can I expect as a department head? I know there's a training coming up about some things like time cards and that.
We're supposed to go live with Tyler in July of 2025, but payroll will not go live until January. That's the date, 2026.
So what is live in July?
Tyler, you're
What?
probably for the software for the accounting. I don't know the training. I don't know what it honestly looks like right now when you submit invoices for payment. But it's supposed to calculate and work a lot better than what our system does now. So reports will not be taking days to.
That's what I've heard.
Together. So it should work
That's what I've
well.
heard. That was the
And
promises, yep.
we are on the payroll. You just put your hours in when you're working.
And
I
that'll
don't
go
know.
live in January, you said?
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do a soft rollout in July where we start working on our hours. We're gonna wait till January. I don't know. We wait till we have our deliverance of information. We will know a lot more. But I know we will be calculating hours. That's how they go in, is with calculated hours.
And it's like
Like a time card.
when you sign into your computer, pretty much.
And you can do it, I think on your cell
On your
phone.
phone,
They've made it
okay.
very, very, very
I think
easy.
there's gonna be an app that you can use.
Yeah.
But that's how it calculates your.
Good.
your
And it tracks
hourly.
it.
So if you forget to put it in, they will forget to put
Yeah,
Don't forget to
Get
pay.
you a time card.
yeah, thinking the only
I'm sorry,
concern
payroll
for
time.
our department is how split up our time is. You know, we're not like, you don't throw 8 hours in at New Hope. You do a half hour for DVLA and a half hour for stop and a half hour for DSHS and a half, you know, I mean,
Well, in Public Works, they have kind of the same thing where they have to put it on different. So
so I don't know what that looks
I
like, but
don't know
it'll be
if
interesting.
internally it will divide it up, but as far as the employee's paycheck or the employee's
Okay.
login for time, I think
And
it's for accounting. You know,
as-
you log in and you log, like time card.
So your time.
And then probably within that system, you're gonna want your breakout of what they're working on.
So as far as you know, at this point, are the Tyler people aware of those, like, departmental quirks?
But they've got to be because probably our most, well, we think our most complex would be Public Works because they've got to bill state and federal on the jobs. They've got to bill it, but
Same.
you're the same thing.
And no one's talked to me, just so you know, like, I haven't heard from them. That's why I'm a little worried about, we're gonna launch into it and we're not gonna be prepared, so. Especially with July 1 coming right around the corner, we've got all these grant applications due between now and July 1.
And you still, when they do their time card, they divide it up within like their notes. So I don't know, maybe we cannot be the only county that has different funding
Right.
sources. And
I just wanna make sure I'm on their radar.
Okay. Well, I would talk to Mandy about it, reach out to Mandy or payroll and just gonna ask them what it's gonna look like.
Okay.
May I just chime in? Susie, you've been mentioning this before, and the board had reached out to Michelle Jaderlin, had asked me to, and Michelle continues to say that all the offices are invited to those monthly, weekly Tyler Tech meetings, which they talk about this at those meetings. Do you know if you're attending those meetings?
I'm not.
Okay, so everyone is supposed to be where they get that information, and that's what Michelle Jaderlin had said.
So maybe we need to check with Michelle and see if you're even getting it.
I'm not getting those invitations.
Well, I will say I have attended some and they don't, I mean, they're just the meetings are what they're working on, so they may not answer your questions, so.
Yeah, I mean,
But you do
it's
have
a
the
work in
opportunity, so
progress,
I'm
for
it's
sure. Okay.
When they're hitting that component.
Thanks, Barb. I know Alice is attending more on the accounting side of things. I'm not sure about the payroll part, so
And
I'll.
she may know.
She may
I
know.
don't know.
Okay.
Again, I don't even know how our own payroll system works, so I am not the expert.
Okay. Okay, and.
I will be, yeah, and I'm curious how that's gonna work.
And then I'm curious if there have been, I haven't seen any communications at all, but if there has been work done on policies, like county policies, just because I've been deep in that with the reaccreditation process, they want to see a policy on this, that, and everything.
We're going through policy update right now with Lexipol. Blair Koch and Decorah are taking that over. We hired Lexipol
Cool.
to do a full update of all of our policy.
Okay.
So
So
if you,
Blair would be the person to visit with about that.
Lexipol, okay. Yeah, there were just a few things that I got from our coaches that I could share with them. I mean, they could
We have
take it or
some
leave it.
policies, and sometimes they don't work well together, so Blair's working with Lexipol.
Awesome.
To
Okay.
update everything.
Love to request an update, maybe at one of those luncheons that we have quarterly on policy updates, as things become more clear, what policies are being updated and how it applies
Well,
to
we are
departments.
getting ready to have another one, so it could be an opportunity.
I have nothing else. Do you have
I'm sorry
anything
about the
for me?
picture.
It's
How's
okay.
everything else going?
We're gonna have to do our own posting.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
I can imagine right now.
it is. Yeah, we have 5 forensic interviews today and 5 forensic interviews tomorrow. So that hits us to Tuesday with more than we typically have in a week. So
Wow,
yeah, a little crazy.
that's not good.
And that's
for
just
the
kids. That's just kids. That's not to mention all of the really awful crimes that have been happening.
Was it one big case or just?
Multiple.
Yeah, I think that's
Not just.
6 cases. Yeah. But then there are so many other crimes happening right now. Yeah.
You talk to the police department about their thoughts on all that?
Regularly.
What is
Regularly.
their thoughts?
What's their take? I mean, for a million different reasons, a million different answers. Yeah. And then sometimes they can't tell us things, you know, but I don't know. If we knew the cause, we could go fix it.
So I'm curious, Susie, it's just a guess probably, but what do you feel the drugs and alcohol have? You feel like that, is it a 50% or?
It's so hard to tell. Drugs and alcohol lower people's inhibitions and then violence comes out. But then again, hardened criminals are going to act violently whether they're impaired by drugs or alcohol anyway,
I was
right?
just curious if it.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
No, it's just a sad.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Susie. Again, sorry about the not wearing blue.
It's okay. It's all right. Wear Blue Friday though.
We'll post it. I'll post it on that.
Okay. Good afternoon, it's 2:30 PM. We're here for a clerk's office update with Clerk Kim Allen.
Hello.
Safe travel. Stay out of trouble. We don't want to read about you in the.
Too soon.
Sheriff's blotter.
Neither do I.
They definitely will put your name in there.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
How's your day going?
All crazy. Playing catch up. I was out Friday, so took me most of the morning just to get caught up on emails.
Yeah.
But
it's like that.
Anything new?
No.
No.
We do have a policy update coming on our policy in the county. I guess people don't know that, but we're working on that.
Like for all the policies?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure Blair or Decorah will be reaching out to you in the future.
okay.
I think they said it's gonna take 8 or 9 months.
Wow. Make sure we update our policy and it pertains to us. It's a lot of review, but.
I was thinking that something, I'd gotten something from Joe. I kind of skimmed over it about something. Thought it was a policy, but maybe not. But somebody's
That's
gonna be,
something that they were
there's
having
like a
employee
company
access.
that's gonna be working on our policies, right?
Flexible.
Flexible. Okay. Okay. That'll be good.
I don't know if I was asking drugs and alcohol for domestic violence when Susie was in here, and it definitely escalates, the escalation of abuse. While substance use itself doesn't cause violence, it can increase the risk and severity of abuse incidents associated with higher likelihood.
I would think
In
so.
Washington State.
People
Yeah,
lose
she said
their
we have a
cool when they've been drinking. Go crazy.
Which is sad.
Did you go somewhere fun for spring break?
I'll tell you when we're not recording.
Oh,
Do you have any more update? I have nothing for you. Passport's been busy.
passports?
You should be, because a lot of people are always looking for you.
Yeah, and they have
For your
the
office.
requirement coming in for stuff
Enhanced.
easier just to get
The
a
enhanced
passport.
driver's license.
We've had like a big influx over, I would say, it started before Christmas, because I remember thinking, man, if these people think they're traveling
No,
somewhere
but I
at
think that
Christmas
we
time,
keep
they're
pushing it back
a
out.
little
I think
too
it was in
late.
July, it's now the new date.
Oh, it's not May
I think
anymore?
it's May.
Okay, it could be May. See, I obviously don't really.
I thought their last extension was all they were gonna get, and it was May
I think it's
first.
end of May.
It's
Oh, end
been,
of-
they've been kicking it out a while.
So, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, a passport
Probably doesn't-
lasts longer, but it costs more, I think.
But you can go places with a passport.
Right,
Versus
more places.
enhanced ID,
Yeah,
you can just fly
yeah.
locally.
I thought it was interesting. I went to get my enhanced driver's license just because I wanted to have it, and the lady at the Department of Licensing was actually like, well, if you do this, it's cheaper, but if you do that, it's more, or if you get a passport, it's this. I was surprised how much she knew. So, and I can't remember, at the time I worked it out and figured out, because my driver's license hadn't expired. So they do the enhanced one for the remainder of the time that your license was, before it expires. So it changed the amount. If you were doing a full license versus a passport, I can't remember now which way it worked out to be better, but I would think your passport would be.
Yeah, well, it says enhanced driver's license are only valid for land and marine crossings. However, so you will not be able to fly to Canada with it as your only form of identification. Before it said Canada, Mexico, or the Caribbean, you can use it for, confirms your identity. So it sounds like you still need a passport to go to Canada.
I think that, yeah, if you plan to fly anywhere,
Fly to Canada.
probably better have your passport. Well, I guess if you're going in the States. it wouldn't be that
And that's
big
just
of
by
a deal.
Googling, so, that's my form of.
So,
Nothing else?
nothing else.
Anything for Kim?
No.
Okay, we will recess until 3 p.m. We are back for a Superior Court update. Good afternoon, it is 3 p.m. and we are waiting for Superior Court to arrive. We will be in recess until they show up. It is now 3:04 p.m. and we have not been able to reach Superior Court, so we will go into recess until 3:15 p.m.
Cheers.
I love those.
You do? Well, there's a
Good
million of them in
afternoon,
there.
It is 3:16 p.m. and we're here with District Court.
Hi,
Hi,
Hello.
did you get your deal submitted?
I did, thank you. I
And
haven't heard anything.
No, wait,
All I
this is
heard
not
was,
what we
we'll
want.
let you know if we have questions. So, but no.
Thank you for the help.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure how much help I would be.
No, hands down, or, for knocking it out of the park and working on that.
It's,
That hands down wasn't the right one. What am I thinking about? Kudos,
Kudos.
kudos.
thanks to Rob for helping me mesh Tom's budget with what I have to give them, because I'm like, these don't match, I don't know what to put where, and he's like, broke it down and we figured it out. And I don't know that they'll like it, but we'll see. All we can do is try.
It's in, it's submitted.
Luckily,
It is
I was
submitted.
busy and unable to help.
Oh, yeah.
I would have just gotten away.
I'm like, can you please call me? But he's in court. I'm like, so I just called Rob. Like, I need someone else's eyes because this isn't working for me. I don't know.
Well, thank you for getting it
Not a problem.
processed.
And we really have nothing else. And we have tons going on, but we really have nothing else we didn't really have an agenda, but we wanted to at least pop in and say hello and see if you guys had anything for us and.
I don't got anything for you.
We're working on a meeting with HR, but we're trying to get people's schedules together. Main purpose again is to try to define where the separation of powers land and work between the parties and see if we can come to a common understanding.
What's the understanding?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Well, have you reached out to neighboring counties?
Are we
There-
missing
Yes.
an understanding? Because I don't even know what you're talking about.
HR seems to want a contract with district court of some sort.
Contract?
Mm-hmm.
Or memo of understanding, maybe. There's just been small things mostly. So when we renegotiated the contract last time, we
With the
changed
union.
with the union, yeah.
Because I was unaware of a MOU.
Yeah, we haven't done one yet, but at that time it came up as something that maybe should be done. There was some question about who holds the official employee file. Per GR 29, that really should be the court. Most courts interpret it that way. HR, they hold the employee files for most of the county, so they have some disagreement with that. But they hold our files for retention, so we only keep active employee files.
Okay,
Once the
so
employee
this would be my
leaves-
opinion. Just gonna say it.
Sure.
If you become under a lawsuit, who's paying? I mean, that's who I would say would hold the files, so.
It depends. So I think there's a cooperative in some parts of it, and there's some parts that we don't have any control whatsoever over, mainly the finances and the money and things of that nature. But then there's other parts where.
Okay, but Desiree.
Yeah.
She says something derogative to you, you're her employee. Now that employee has a claim against her, who handles that? Like that would be that's only.
Yeah, and that's what I think we need to have the understanding on, because normally HR would just take care of all of that.
Yeah. So if there's like, well, we're not gonna get HR involved until that point, then I wouldn't be very supportive of that because I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we're on some departments, that's almost like how we are, is we don't get to find out. And then when we do find out, it's always like, oh, well, it was only this. Well, then why are we settling a money amount? That'd be my only concern. But I don't know what it's holding you up or hurting you or.
Well, I'll jump in because Barbara Smith had the files and it was some court where I think, like you said.
Yeah.
I think there was, I don't know the history, but maybe some employee issues and because they were in her office. I mean, there wasn't a great connection between district court and HR.
Right.
And then I think at the time, it's kind of like, well, you had the files, you were taking care, something to that. I don't want to blame.
Yeah, and I don't
But
really
there was
know what
something
all.
That all of a sudden it kind of did transfer into like, help, let HR help you. And they're in the files because, they're not the experts, but
I know
feel like
HR does like the FMLA, PFML, all the things that are tied to benefits.
and they had to be locked up. That was another thing. The files have to be locked up.
Ours are locked, medical separate from, I even had HR come up, I had Decorah and Gina come up and I showed them our file structure, showed them our electronic files to make sure we were doing things appropriately. Because the last thing that we want to do is open the county up to any liability. We're happy to work with HR, to work with legal, to learn. But
There is something, I just don't know.
Yeah.
The issue seemed to came in, from my understanding, is when the collective bargaining agreement was readdressed with Judge Barlow and Desiree and HR, that the language was changed to appropriately reflect
what's currently
the
happening.
law, the statutes and the law, to say that the court has control over this, and this. This is what HR has complete control over, this, and this. And all we're trying to do is to get it to that common understanding is that we don't have a choice in this. yes, we can use you to cooperate and assist and things of that nature. And that's what we're looking to do. But if they're not satisfied with that, then we have to figure out an alternative of some sort. I don't want to go that route at all.
Yeah.
But I think this was worked out pretty well with Kirk and was a lot of it decided. So when everything kind of changed.
Things were working well.
And I was approached about trying to figure this out. So I was unaware of it being a major issue until I was approached about it. Like, we got to come to this understanding. And then I asked for an agenda, and the agenda said, we want a contract with you. And so to me, I was like a little taken back because I didn't think we ever needed a contract, but I don't know. So we're trying to coordinate a meeting. I think Kevin will be is he the district court person? Because I think they're trying to figure out his schedule. I thought it was you, but
Oh, Kevin, one of the.
Fund Development Services, Renew, Central Services, Treasurer, Auditor, Sheriff.
Okay, so yeah, so they're trying to figure out his schedule, my schedule, Desiree's schedule. That's gonna be tough to get everyone in the same room. Oh, Decorah, Gina.
Yeah, but I would also reach out to like Chelan County and.
I've reached out to most of,
Okay,
it's pretty common that, so courts generally do, you know, their own recruitment, their own interview, their own offer. The personnel files are, a lot of them are the court, some are HR, and some are duplicates or shared. Investigations are almost all primarily the courts. So some of the stuff that they are pushing towards being more responsible for, maybe pushing isn't the right word, but there's definitely been some disagreement about, like the employee files, for example. We only house the current employees. What we've always done, at least as long as I've been here, is once the employee leaves, we close out the file, we send it to HR for retention. So then they have the file, you know, any unemployment, anything that comes in after that point, we let them handle it because they are the professionals. But when we talked about the employee files, the response was, well, then why are we holding these for you? Keep them, they're yours. And so that's a little frustrating because we're just trying to comply with GR 29, which says that we need to manage court employees. Part of that would be employee files under our interpretation anyways. And, but we aren't trying to make a big change, you know, so I don't know. It's just a little frustrating. And I think it's frustrating for them too, because they're trying to figure out, well, why is it important while they're your employee, but not important once they're a past employee? And they have a point, but a lot of that answer is when they're my current employee, if they want to look at their file, they walk in my office, I unlock the file cabinet, we look at the file, we answer any questions, whatever. The employees that are leaving, that's when the files get more complicated. That's when people are asking for records or disputing things. And that's what HR is trained to deal with. We aren't necessarily. And that's why I want them to keep them at that point. So it's just little things like that that need to be worked out.
We're ready for the meeting. We have all the research to do and all the information of what other courts are doing and what we would desire to do and what we would hope that they would be willing to work with us on. And then also what would be the alternative if they don't want to work with us on it. And so we're just telling you guys we're working on it. So it's something we're trying to figure out. I've asked them for just dates that are available because they're going to have to figure out, they're going to work with Kevin and then we're going to work together. The other big thing about this we wanted to really focus on was meeting with the other judges. So there was a common understanding amongst all the judges, because if you have a new judge next year, no one's going to want to go through this again and do it every time you have a new judge. And so that's the other reason why we're trying to just come together and get it all worked out. I think I have a pretty good hold on what the judges so desire. And so I think we're all on the same page, but I wanted to meet, let's get it figured out and get it handled. So.
I did not know GR's been for, is it general rules?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're trying to wrap our head around the concept of remote hearings with the prosecutor's office and district court. I think we talked a little bit about this, but we have a meeting tomorrow with Crystal in Superior Court to kind of discuss that process that they go through for a lot of their remote hearings. And then also get an idea of how that will work. I think the prosecutor has hired or is going to hire 2 remote attorneys just to deal with district court. So they will be online. So we're trying to figure out how that's all going to work with our court. So changes, technology, not enough people to work. All wrapped into one.
Problem,
Yeah, it's a problem everywhere. So it's not just the legal world, but it's bad in the legal world. It's really bad. What else do we have?
Yeah, 1 minute.
2, according to that.
Mm.
A little less. Is there anything that you need from us?
No.
Well, yeah, now I have more information to research here on this GR 29.
Yeah.
I would rather work with you on things than others, so I appreciate you both.
Yeah, I think it's important we head it off and just meet in the middle and figure it out. And if we can't, then we'll figure out what the alternative is. But if we can, it'll work great. So.
Uh-oh. I don't think.
Can we let him in?
Thank you, mouth, good gatekeeper.
He probably would love to be kept out.
Are you supposed to have this door locked?
No, no. You gotta unlock it then.
All right.
There, it's unlocked.
Thanks.
Now someone's gonna interfere. You know, you spilled icebreaker sauce all over.
Icebreaker.
Icebreaker dust.
When I open them.
It will more to come on GR 29.
Thank you both.
Desiree's
you're getting
Desiree's
the-
gonna
you're getting the
appreciate this,
wave.
but I need to remind you, Administrative Assistance Day is coming up.
I already know.
All right.
My wallet's out. Hey there.
Thank you.
How do you hear that so far? Oh, look what you did to your chair.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30 p.m. and we are here for our public events meeting.
Okay. Well, I'm boring again today, but, well, I mean, I'm not bored. There's lots of stuff happening in my life, but, for you, maybe I did have, 2, contracts on the consent agenda. Same as last week, they're, contractors, for handling conflicts. Of course, they've already started. We should have one more coming next week, and that should cover all of them. Anyway, I'm supposed to be going on vacation tomorrow, but I may not start till Wednesday. But
What? You better go. You're gonna be in the doghouse.
yeah.
He's already in.
Well, Wednesday's when I really gotta go. I was gonna start tomorrow. I'm probably not gonna make it, but we'll see how it goes.
Don't miss your flight. Don't.
No, we're not flying. We're driving.
You can do remote.
What's that?
You can call in on remote. You don't think you can remote in? into your
Here?
office?
For this meeting?
No, for
Oh,
your.
for court?
To leave, oh, yeah, court tomorrow.
No, what do you
We were
mean?
just talking about remote.
Oh, tomorrow? Oh, yeah. Well, no, I just have some stuff. I was gonna, I mean, I need to go to Chelan to Wenatchee to detention before I take off, but we'll see how that happens. We'll see if I need to. I'm still working on that. But at any rate, yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm looking forward to a few days off. But we've been grinding pretty hard. Yeah, other than that, I think everything's good. My only budgetary concern right now is we seem to be spending a lot of money on experts, but that's not.
Sometimes you don't get a choice. You just get to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not too strange, and I mean I haven't really looked and see how we're going, but I would expect that we don't have some of these big tickets for a while, but we'll see how it happens.
Where do your experts come from?
Well, wherever we can find them.
What's it take to be an expert?
Well,
Doesn't the
to be
judge
an
have
expert, it
prove
can, well, it can be by either education or experience. You can be an expert. I mean, you can, for example, there was a time when we qualified a guy as an expert by experience to talk about guns and fabrication of guns and assembly of guns, that type of thing, Usually what we're talking about are psychologists. We have a particular case that is pretty expensive and had a psychologist from Bellingham. He was in Bellingham, and he was doing work. I mean, we've used people from, I've
Don't
used.
you have to get court approval, the judge?
Well, yes and no. Yes, generally, you need to go to the court first and ask, and the court sets sort of a limit, and you get that, and then when you get a bill, you go and get an order to pay from the court. And so, yeah, I don't approve any payment until we get an order to pay from the court. Where it comes out of my budget, instead, some of the counties, the court has budgets for that. They take care of that budget and pay it. And so the judges are pretty stingy about it. Here, we've always done it through my budget. And so the judges don't worry about that. They basically just sign off. From time to time, a judge will say, wait a minute, that doesn't look quite right. Judge Antos and Judge Spurline would do that, but since then, not really. But we haven't had lots of cases with huge bills until just recently. So, for example, there's, I don't think I'm sharing anything that I can't because it's in the court file, right? But you have the Gorge shooter, who's a veteran, and there's all kinds of issues there. And so that's one that he's been evaluated because they're working, because there's an issue of maybe some diminished capacity and that sort of thing. And so when psychologists get to looking at that, they want, the reason it costs so much, for one is they're really expensive, per hour, but they want anything that's ever happened in their life, they want to see it, so it's almost as bad as going to their birth certificate. They want their grade school records and any discipline that's ever happened on any level, and any police report that's ever happened, speeding tickets, and and so it's just pretty intense to gather all of that and get it to them. So yeah, it's that kind of thing, and they go through it all. They get familiar with it all, and you can just imagine the time it takes to just do that, when they're charging $300 or $350 or $400 an hour, it adds up quick, I've used experts personally had one come from, Santa Clara. But, there's a little extra cost sometimes to fly somebody in when they need to testify, but, that's less and less now because they're letting us do that remotely, so, that's the good news, Yeah, anyway, we try to stick around as close as we can. We were using a guy from, that did some stuff from Pullman, but he retired, I guess. So we're kind of fighting for somebody else. We use a guy out of Spokane for like juveniles. We use him often. Sometimes he's not available, but Because he's a pretty reasonably priced guy. He does good work. But, and so we're sensitive to cost when we can be, but sometimes you gotta have who you gotta have, and they know it. So, they.
Well, they know about it, but
I mean,
they
they know that there's only a handful of people that can do that sort of stuff. They price according to scarcity, so, but yeah, budget wise, that's kind of our thing. We spend quite a bit of money on experts or investigators and things. Luckily, we have Ellen in our office, so she does most of the stuff for the office people. But yeah, that's kind of where we are today. I don't know that I have too much more to help you with. I don't know what else you'd be interested in.
Nothing, anything for you?
No, just enjoy your vacation.
Definitely.
I hope so.
All right, we will go into recess until 3:45 and we're back with the PA's office. Good afternoon. It is 3:45 p.m. and we're here for the prosecuting attorney's office update with prosecuting attorney Kevin McRae.
Hello, and we probably need to go into executive session for litigation.
10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Probably 10.
We will go into executive session for 10 minutes, beginning at 3:45, coming out at 3:55 for litigation RCW 42.30.1101I. We are out of executive session.
Okay. What do you think, Rob? Is that hold is the answer?
I would be okay holding. I don't know about a long hold, but.
I can re-raise it next week and we can talk about it again. Okay, thank you.
Sure, you probably need these then.
Yeah, do you want to move on to that?
Sorry, I kept bouncing you around, Rebecca.
Oh, no worries. So am I understanding that we're gonna discuss it next week?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool, thanks.
Thank you. Leslie, it was good seeing you.
Nice to see you all too from a distance. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep, we're done. That's usually Kevin's job. Kevin's not there. Just say later on Barb's desk. Thank you.
So looks like about
Barb,
time.
are we still, I do have this signed letter or signed batch, emergency check request.
Hello.
I don't know if we're still on.
Yes, I had asked Rob to bring that up when he comes up.
Just don't know if we need it all right now.
Okay, it is 4 o'clock and we are here for opioid abatement fund discussion.
Sir? Ooh, fancy.
Well, hello.
I'm ready to learn. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is just a refresher for some slides that we've put together based on the opioid settlement funds and the current contract we have with Carelon Behavioral Health. The first couple of pages just discuss the counties that are overseeing the funds, as well as what each county and city in our 4-county region had received funds and the amount that they put towards the contract, which is found on page 2. And then the rest of it is just definitions and information that's found in the contract. Mostly just trying to get this to Commissioner Burgess as well, so you could understand the background on these contracts. So for the the current contract that we have, which is a 5-year contract with Carillon, at the time we did that contract, we had received $706,269.10 for our opioid abatement funds to the county. Over the 5-year contract, that is $141,253.82 per year. Since we've done the contract, though, we received an additional $776,198.62. So a total in Grant County of $1,482,467.72. So for what Carillon would like to know is for FY26, so beginning in July 1st, if our intention is to put 100% of the funds that we've received to date into the next contract. So they would do a contract amendment, adding these funds in. So if we do that, then that would still be over the 5-year period. And then that would raise the 141,000 annually to 296,492.54 annually. Or we could add the total amount into year 2026. And if you don't spend it all, then it just rolls over into the next annual contract. I think my recommendation to the board would be that we keep it over the 5 years. Because I think if we spend this in 1 year, I think that could be just problematic. I think if we can extend these funds over a 5-year period, that'd be the best situation for us. So I think I'm just coming today to get us on the same page of what we want to do. And if you need me to submit a letter to for consent agenda for next week to allow the 100% to go into the next contract cycle, then I can work on that piece and get that signed off by the board. But I just wanted to come in and have the discussion and let you know where we're at and what we have that's come into the county for these funds.
Yeah, if you're okay with 5 years, I'm okay with 5 years.
Okay.
Amending that from 141 to 296 and some change.
Yeah, does the board need a consent
We probably,
approval?
yes, we
Okay.
will need to change, I believe we need something to change that amount. Or will it just be, no, that would be our question. Because we are set at 141, so I think we need to change the amount to the 296.
Okay, I'll get that done for this next consent agenda, and then that would show up as an amendment for July 1st, 2025, going into the 2026 year. The current RFP for this contract is out to the public, and we're expecting responses back here in a couple of weeks, and then we'll begin the review process for how we want to disperse the original funds. Quick and easy, you guys. I thought this would take longer.
Well, that's just my thoughts. Rob, did you nod? Were you in agreement?
I'm in support of what Dell thinks, but I'm not super well versed in this one at all.
The new one.
But I don't know. From the beginning, I remember at the beginning, Kevin was talking to us about the fund the most.
Well, because it was lawsuit money coming in.
Yeah,
That's kind of my area. How to spend it is kind of more Dell. So, so it kind of handed it off.
Daryl would love to have this money in the Grant County. He's like, why is Chelan County holding it? Grant County could hold it. Yeah, I think we should look into it, but it's just easier for where the.
So what happened with that is that when the Opioid Abatement Council was formed, they were looking for a fiscal agent, and none of the counties or cities stepped up to fulfill that
Well, I think we'll
responsibility.
take the money, we just don't want to be the agent.
Yes, and there was some concern if Chelan County was holding the funds, they'd get some kind of interest off of it. That's not what's occurring. They're a pass-through, and so what they're doing is they have the funds, so they'll invoice the county for the funds. The funds will then go to Chelan, then they'll cut one check to Carillon. So it makes it so Carillon's not having to do 20 different contracts, basically is what's happening. But Chelan County, once they transfer that to Carillon Behavioral Health, Carillon would get it up to a 10% administrative service fee off of the top. And then the rest would go out to the public to submit projects for us to work on. But going back to Rob, your question is that the funds are to the county. And I was just approved or appointed as a representative.
Yeah, I remember all that. It's just the whole.
Yeah.
It's a new.
I'm trying to track it through.
Yeah, we're all trying to figure out what we do, but.
And people, like Moses Lake City Council, they'll often reach out asking, what's going on with this Carillon thing? And I'm like, man, that's not under me. I have no idea. Because I really don't know.
For county, I represent that. And then for city, it's Councilwoman Martinez.
Which is probably some of it then. Makes sense.
And then we combined for the RFP.
Yeah, I knew that.
Because they have to have the city, Moses Lake has to be involved.
Yeah, but I did let them know that our priority in Grant County was the jail. So in ensuring that we were able to provide withdrawal management inside the jail.
And the beauty of the jail is serves the county, the cities.
Yeah.
The whole gamut.
So sorry that was so short.
No, hey, don't be sorry.
Give you a little bit of a break.
Is that it then?
That's it.
Well then. We will be going in
Recess time.
recess today until tomorrow at
Everybody-
8:15.
Everybody go hit the monkey bars.